I closed my first launch in under a month, under 10 posts, a handful of emails, one webinar to a small community. And here is the part that surprises people. My AI assistants weren't the first reason it worked. They were the reason I could execute it fast. Two very different things, and mixing them up is the expensive way to build a business. So if you've been asking whether your business should be AI first, please stay with me. By the end, you will know exactly what has to exist before AI and what AI is actually for. Let me show you what actually happened, numbers and all. My business assistant, my business strategist, Olive, AI assistant, predicted maybe 3 signs up for this launch. She would run the math, a launch runaway that small, a promotional campaign that lean, that's what the numbers pointed to. And she was right about the numbers, 100%. Under 10 posts, a handful of emails, one webinar, under 4 weeks start to finish, and yet the founding cohort closed. A real result against a small campaign on a very short timeline, which raises the question worth sitting with. How does a campaign that lean still convert? Not because of AI, because of the system, the business system underneath it. I've watched this pattern up close in my own business and in plenty of others. Someone gets excited about AI, buys 5 tools, hires, lots of AI assistants or downloads them, implements them inside their own LLM and builds their strategy around those tools, not around the revenue goal and not around the business system. I did a version of that myself early on, layering automation onto an offer that wasn't actually sequenced yet, and it felt productive. It wasn't. Wrong order, AI first, business goals second. Right order, business goals first, AI second. The gap between those two is the whole game. Before any AI assistant, any prompt actually, any automation, 3 things have to exist. 1, a very clear revenue goal in general for your business over the 5 next years, and also specific goals to build a launch runaway around. Second, a scalable system, business system, sequence from vague business idea to first clients. In my work, that's the 8 workshops business systems, the order clients move through before we touch a single AI tool. 3, smart systems for the parts that don't scale by hand, content, follow-up, delivery. Some clients need to redesign an existing business for scale, redesign their offer. Some are starting from zero. Either way, the sequencing doesn't change. And some need to really AI-proof their offers. A lot to talk about it here. Once those 3 exist, AI stops being a gadget, if you want, and starts being an infrastructure. In my launch, sales pages were built in a few minutes, and sometimes just with the whole concept in a few hours only. Deployed in minutes, yeah. So they were built in a few hours, deployed in minutes, changed whenever I wanted, and 2 lead magnets were built from scratch, the kind people actually use and love. Email drafts pulled straight into my email service provider system through a direct connection between Claude and Kit, DMs refined before they went out, and so on. None of that replaced the campaign strategy. It just executed it, and fast. So fair warning on this part, assistants range from thin, AI assistants, some genuinely careless with a business, like, they have hidden codes, they're dangerous even, to very sharp, and the difference comes down entirely to what's feeding them, the brand context, the playbooks, the instructions. So get that part wrong and the AI just moves the wrong plan faster. There is a second layer here worth naming. This wasn't just a small launch that worked. It was validation of an offer, not just an offer. As far as I can tell, very few people are combining right now sequence business systems with a real AI infrastructure layered on top. And that gap meant a small, unaided campaign moved into fairly open space. But the more interesting signal was on the audience side. People are ready to adopt AI. What surprised me is how many of them want to do it deliberately, and smartly, not bolt it onto whatever they already had, but build right from the start. I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't the whole point of this moment to go all in on AI? Well, only if AI is your actual field. For almost everyone else, the goal isn't an AI first company. It's gonna waste a lot of your time and actually make you late instead of helping you achieve your revenue faster, you'll be late. It's a strategic, scalable business that's AI-backed, heavily trained on your brand, then streamline down to what you actually need. That's the order I teach inside the Quiet AI Accelerator. System first, AI second, curated, not piled on. If you want to see how I sequence that with clients, there is a link in the description. No pressure, just the framework. So here is the through line. The launch worked because the business system was already sequenced, because the AI just let me move through it faster than I could do it alone. Systems first, AI second. That's the order that actually works. If this resonates, the details of the 8 workshops business systems are one video away. I'll walk you through exactly how I sequence a business before AI ever enters the picture. Watch that next.